Okay, and so to program in Microsoft Excel, we come to this place called developer. We come to that developer, but for you now, you may not have that active on your Microsoft Excel. Okay, so after the menu tab, the next thing I need to show you is what is called the formula tab. These are essential part of Microsoft Excel. This is called your menu tab, your formula tab. If you've seen your formula tab, I'd like you to give me feedback and let me know that you've seen the formula tab. What do we do in the formula tab? This is where we impute our formulas. And Excel is as deep as an ocean. In fact, when I meet people and they say they are advanced users in Microsoft Excel, only for us to start, you find that they are even still basic users in Microsoft Excel. Excel is that deep. It finds its application virtually in all fields. I can write mathematics formulas, I can write engineering formulas, I can write accounting formulas. I can do a lot of things on Microsoft Excel as long as I know the formula, or as long as I can create the formulas. Excel can implement it in whatever field: auditing, catering, whatever, data science, modeling, whatever you want to do, predictive analytics, regression, whatever you want to do. As long as you can carve out the formula, Excel can implement it. And that implementation is done in the formula tab. I hope we got that. The next very important component of Excel that I'm going to share with you is this small box here called the name tab. Name. Did you see what I just highlighted? Just on your left corner, on the left top corner, you will see the name tab. If you can see the name tab, if you've seen where I just indicated, just tell me yes. Good, great, 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 great. You see, this name tab is very, very critical in Microsoft Excel. In fact, as you advance in your usage of in data analytics or in data management, you will find the name tab. Okay, name box, yes, Priska, yes, name box. You will find the name box, the name tab, very, very useful when you begin to manage a very huge data set, what people call big data. Don't say you can't hear me. Please, if you can hear me, I'd like you to give me, send me, just say yes if you can hear me. Don't say it may have to do with your internet. Okay, so Kende can hear me, Chidebere, they can hear me. Okay, good. So Dunsin, you want to check your internet? So Dunsin, please check your internet. Okay, good. Now, so don't forget these three very important tabs that I have talked about. I talked about the menu tab. I talked about the formula tab. And I talked about the name tab. Okay? And you'll be seeing how we're going to be navigating across these three things. Good. The next thing I want to introduce us to, good morning, Doc. It's good to have you, Dr. Folake. Good morning to have you. Yeah, good morning. Okay, so the next thing I'd like to introduce you to is how Excel thinks. How Excel thinks. How Excel thinks. How Excel thinks. The first thing that I'd like you to know about Excel is that Excel thinks in rows and columns. Excel thinks in rows and columns. You see, This thing we call Microsoft Excel has always been with us. You see, every time you see a technology or you see a software, most of the software is just an automation of a previous manual process that was very tedious. It used to be a manual process before, but somebody felt let's automate it so that it will be less tedious. If you remember in our primary school, we used to have something called a register. If you still remember this, it looks like this. And it used to be in rows and column. It used to be in rows and column. Some persons are saying they've lost me. Please check your internet. Please, if you can hear me, just give me a feedback that you can hear me. I like to be sure that you can hear me. If you can hear me clear and you can see my slide, just type in yes. Okay, we just hope that someday we'll get better network around this climb. Quite unfortunate. Okay, so please check your internet and be sure you are at a place where you can see and the network can support visual and audio. Okay, good. Now, so I was explaining how Excel thinks. First, I started with, for those who can hear me now, first I started with the three core components of an Excel that you need to know how to use: the menu tab, the formula tab, and the name tab. Then I proceeded to share um, um, how Excel thinks, and I'm currently on the first way Excel thinks. I said Excel thinks in rows and columns. Okay, so if you have your video on, you may want to turn off your video so that it may reduce the bandwidth. I think we're in a peculiar climb where the internet bandwidth can be a bit messy, so that it can reduce the amount of streaming others need to stream. You may just turn off your video so that, thank you for that suggestion. So Excel thinks in rows and columns, and I was explaining to us that Excel is every software you know, whether Uber, whether whatever software you ever think of, is actually an automation of a manual process that was tedious, a manual process that people were finding it difficult to use. And I said that Microsoft Excel was an automation of that little document, that little paper we call register in primary school. If you remember the register that teachers used to come to class with, where you have name of students, you can have name of students. So you have the name of students, you have their first test, second test, exam, attendance, things like that on the register. So you have different students' names arranged. So if I ask you that I'm looking for Mr. Abdurrashid on the register, you will go to the row where Mr. Abdurrashid is located and try to trace him to the column where the information you are looking for, maybe his exam score. So his exam score could be in column 4 and his name could be in row 3. So you track Mr. Abdurrashid in row 3 to column 4 where his exam is located. Now, imagine you have plenty students. Imagine you have 1,000 students. How tedious it is to be going row by row, trying to scroll row by row looking for Mr. Abdurrashid. It can be a very tedious work. I remember those days so that our teachers won't find it very difficult. They will even sort the names in alphabetical order so that they can a bit find it easy to track students' names. But Excel is just an automation of that. It's just automating that register. Okay? So once you understand this, you will see that if you come to your Excel, Excel has columns and rows. Excel has columns and rows. The columns are labeled in alphabet, and the rows are labeled in numbers. Okay? And if you look at Microsoft Excel, it has, if you are using from 2010 upward, it has about 16,384 columns. 16,384 columns, and it has about 10 million rows. No, I mean 1 million. Please, that's, let me just type in the full number. It's about 1,004,856 rows. Okay, this is not 10 million. This it has about 1 million rows and about 16,000 columns thereabout. That's powerful. That's powerful. What it means is that just on a single sheet of Excel, you can put in about 10,000 columns and over 1 million data sets, and it has multiple sheets. So you can go sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4, as many sheets again of Microsoft Excel. That's why it is that huge. I hope we got that explanation. Okay, so for us to look at that, put your cursor on column A, row 1. Put your cursor on column A, row 1. Column A, row 1. Then hold your control key. Hold your control key plus arrow down. Control key plus arrow down. From column A1, hold your control key plus arrow down. If you've done that, I'd like you to tell me what row number are you currently. If you've done that, control plus arrow down, what row number are you? Fantastic. You are on, that's the last row on Excel, about 1 million rows. Okay, do like this. Take control plus arrow key left, arrow key right. Hold control key and go arrow key right. What column are you on? XFD. In fact, you are now on XFD 1048576. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so take the control key, arrow up and arrow left to return back to where you are. Control key, arrow up and arrow left to return back to column A1. Fantastic, Kayode. Yes, good. Okay, so we're picking it. So let's make progress. Bashir, I love that response. Wow, Excel is that deep. In fact, I don't recognize someone as a data scientist, no matter what programming language you're programming. If you can't use spreadsheets, you will actually be having issues, even as an advanced data scientist. We have people who can program very well in Python. They can do machine learnings. I mean, they can build models, but they don't understand Excel very well. And that will always be a deficiency. Okay? Excel is such a powerful tool. It's the baseline tool when it comes to data monitoring and evaluation. In fact, if you're working in M&E, you know that you do a lot of your work on Excel. Of course, we know that there are so many other software for data analysis, SPSS, Stata, Tableau, Power BI, and the rest of them. You will always find out that something always bring you back to Microsoft Excel. And that's why it's an essential tool that everyone must learn. Let me know if you are back to column A1. Column A1. Just the same thing, just press your control key, arrow up, and control key, arrow left, and you'll be back to A1. So if you're back to column A1, just give me a yes. Okay, Amarachi, good. I'm glad. Good, Kaide, I'm glad you're back. Okay, good. So let's make progress. So because Excel thinks absolutely, Samuel, you use the right word. Excel is as deep as an ocean. It's as deep. In fact, when I go to some congregation of data scientists, I don't like to say I am an advanced user before you find out that your advanced usage is actually a basic usage to another advanced user. Is that deep? That deep. Okay, good. So let's make progress. Um, you will find out that because Excel thinks in rows and column, whatever information you put in any column, we can call it out from any of the rows and column. And if you look on your name bar, did you find out that your name bar is written A1 currently? A1. Yes, Bukola, you can work on many projects simultaneously. So you find out that you are on A1. If you move to the next column, A2, you see that the name bar changes to A2, A3, A4, like that. Okay, good. Let's say, for instance, in A1, let's type Kayode there. Priska, you are on what column so that I can guide you on how to get back to A1? Are you still in the column XFD thereabouts? XFD, okay, just press your control key, then you add plus the arrow up. Control key plus arrow up. Once you've done control key to the arrow up, also now do control key plus arrow left. Then you'll be back to A1. Priska, let me know if you've been able to do that. Priska, give me a feedback if you've been able to do that. Priska, let me know if you've been able to do that, if you are back to column A1. Fantastic, good job, good job. Good job. Okay, so let's make progress. Now, so you find out that, let's type Kayode in Olubori Abubakar. Please check your internet. Please check your internet. Other persons can hear me. Type Kayode in column A1. Type Kayode in column A1. If you've done that, come to column D17. Come to column D17. I'm trying to call these things by their names so that you get used to the column and rows, because Excel thinks in rows and column. Come to column D17 and type equal to A1. That column D17, just type equal to A1 and press enter. What did you see happened? What happened in column D17? There's no problem, you can be on any sheet. Let me also go to sheet 1 so that we don't feel that the magic happens when you are on sheet. So it called the information. So now Excel recognizes that column A1 has Kayode in it. And you are telling Excel that D17, that column D17 is equal to whatever is in column A1. So if I come to A1 now and change what is there and type Aisha, what will happen in D17? It will also turn to Aisha. If I come to column A1 and type Solomon, D17 will change to Solomon. If I type, so whatever information I put in A1, since I had already told it that D17 is equal to A1, it will continue to automate based on that information. Okay, good. Okay. Somebody said I should come again. That's Yaro, Sani Yaro. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. Sani, what I'm saying, so let me delete what I've done here. We started with the information that Excel thinks in rows and column. And because Excel thinks in rows and column, Excel can pick any information from any column and reference it in another column. For instance, if I say A1, if I type Yaro here in column A1, if you look at the name tab, you'll see that it's written A1. If I come to D1 and I put equal to sign there, and I said equal to A1, that I want the content in D1 to be equal to A1. You see, it's able to pull whatever information is in A1 and make it the information in D1. So if I come here and type Sani, this changes to Sani. If I turn here to 12, this changes to 12. If I type 56, this changes to 56. Okay, just to start us up with that conversation. I hope we understood that. Let's build on that further. Now, if you have understood that Excel thinks in rows and columns, so that means we can reference any row, we can reference any column. I can tell Excel to give me an information that is in XFD 13,000. I can tell it to give me an information that is in ABC 700, and it will pick that information and give me that information. Now, so once we have understood that, the next thinking that I need you to understand is that Excel thinks in relative terms. Excel thinks in relative terms. Excel thinks in relative terms. This is the next one we're looking at. Bukola, I don't understand that your question. An example? When we begin to work more with data, you will see how this is moving. But just first understand that Excel thinks in rows and columns. Excel thinks in row and columns. Then Excel thinks in relative terms. Excel thinks in relative terms. Now, so let me explain this to us. Excel thinks in relative terms. You see, the way Excel thinks that if you bring somebody and he is tall, let me type it there, that is tall, and the next person is a bit taller, Excel automatically thinks that the next thing that is going to follow is more tall. I don't know if there's any English word like that. Okay, but tall, taller, tallest. So it thinks in relative terms. Okay, and in practical terms, this is what I'm saying to you. If you put 1 in column A1 and put 2 in column A2, if I highlight the 2 together and drag, Excel thinks that you want to number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 12, like that. Is that clear? Do we understand that? Does that make any sense? If In column B1, you have maybe 2, and column B2, you have 5. Excel thinks that, what do you think Excel thinks is going to be the next number after 2 and 5? What do you think Excel thinks will be the next number? Eight. Fantastic. That's it. So Excel thinks that the next number is going to be 8. And yeah, so if I drag this, okay, so if I drag this, you see 8, and that's how it's going to go in that series. And why is it like that? Is because Excel thinks in relative terms. It always thinks that one cell is related to the next cell. So if I highlight 1 and 2 on this column and drag, Excel thinks I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If this is clear, okay, Kennedy, I'm going to explain that again. You don't understand the relative terms. I'm going to explain again. Okay, let me use alphabets. I use numbers now. Let's say that this is Kennedy, column I1 is Kennedy 1. Did you see what I just put? Kennedy 1. Did you see that? Kennedy 1. Excel thinks that the next thing I want to type is Kennedy 2. So if I drag like this, he thinks that I want to type Kennedy 1, Kennedy 2, Kennedy 3 because Excel thinks relatively. It thinks that cell I1 and cell I2, they are related. So it tries to find what is their common denominator, what is their common relationship. And based on that common relationship, it will now begin to use that information to process every other cell. Now, if you don't understand that Excel thinks relatively, when you begin to start computation and calculation in Excel, you may be coming up with wrong reports, wrong answers, because Excel thinks relatively. So there are times we want to stop Excel from thinking relatively, which is its default thinking, and we want it to think absolutely. So just keep following me and you'll get that. Okay. Somebody's asking, I saw a question and it has moved. I didn't read the question before it moved. Okay, how did I drag? Yes, that was the question I saw. How did I drag? All I mean, how to drag is you highlight whatever you want to drag, come to the side, to the bottom right corner, you come to the bottom right corner, like for instance, this data, to the bottom right corner. Once you come to the bottom right corner, you will see something that looks like a plus sign, like a plus. Once you put it at the edge, at the bottom right corner, you will see something that looks like a plus. Then use that plus to drag. Did you see that now? Let me know if that was clear. Good. And if you've been able to do that, that's what we just want you to do. And then the people who have, you said you drag 111 and you have 111 all through, you need to highlight, let's say, the first and the second when it comes to numbers, so that Excel can begin to think using that relationship. So, like for instance, I highlight 1 and 2, then come to the edge and drag. Once you get that plus sign, you can now drag. And this is how we do numbering in Excel. For instance, if I want to number all of my data, I don't need to come and be typing 1, 2, 3. So I just type 1, 2, then highlight the two numbers, come to the bottom right corner, right edge, put your cursor there until you have a plus sign. Use that plus sign to drag and you will have this. Okay, those who are having issues with it, I'd like you to give me a feedback if you've been able to do that. Oh, okay, I don't know your name, but the person using the detail user, give me a feedback if you've been able to do that. Priska, you've not been able to do it. Priska, just keep, Mary, it keeps duplicating. Okay, good. Let me do it again. So let's say in column A1, I have 3, and in column A2, I have 7. If I want to highlight, I will just, okay, how to highlight? To highlight, there are different ways to highlight. You can either use your mouse, click on the first number, and just use your mouse to drag to the next from the middle. You don't have to come to the edge. That's one way. Another way to highlight is to press your shift button. You have the shift button and use arrow down. Shift button, you use it together with the arrow down button. So for instance, I come here and say shift, press my shift and press arrow down. You see it has highlighted. Then I can now bring my cursor to the edge, to the bottom edge, until I have this plus sign, and then drag. Okay. Okay, the fill options is not the reason why you are having duplications. The reason you're having duplications is because you have not highlighted the two numbers you want it to use for. Yes, Mary, I'm glad you got it now. Good, good. Yes, Olaiton, you got it. Good, 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 fantastic, good. So let's make progress. Now that we've gotten that Excel thinks in relative terms, let's make progress with what we're doing. And so, for instance, if I type January here, what do you think Excel thinks will be in the next column? Who has an idea? If I type January in a column like this, what do you think Excel thinks will be in the next column? February. Fantastic. Fantastic. Good. No, not January 2. Because Excel thinks in relative terms, and this is a month, January. So Excel thinks that the next month is going to be February. So if I drag like this, so it's going to keep numbering for me January to December, January, like that. Do you get that now? If I type Monday here, what do you think Excel thinks will be in the next column? So let me get a feedback. If I type Monday, Tuesday, that you are getting it now. So Excel thinks in relative terms. Okay, so even if I short it and I put Jan, Excel thinks that I want the short form of the month, Jan, Feb. Do we get it now? If so, if I have years like this and I drag, Excel thinks I want to duplicate in terms of years. Okay, good. If I have a date, a full date, let's say for instance, today is 6/27th, 2020. You see, this is a date now. Excel thinks that the next thing I want to do is I want to number by day. So tomorrow is going to be 628, 629, 630th, 7th month. Do you get that now? So Excel thinks in relative terms. Please don't forget this. Please mute your Unamba Ijoma. Please mute your. Okay, let me just mute you from here. Don't bother. I've muted you from here, but don't unmute yourself. Yes, we mute everybody, but we keep getting people unmuting themselves, maybe by mistake. Okay, good. So Excel thinks in relative terms. I should think that everybody is clear with that. So if I ask you, what are the two basic thinking of Excel? If you have an idea, just type it for me on the chat box. If you have an idea of the two basic thinking of Excel, please type it for me in the chat box. Excel thinks in rows and columns, fantastic, yes. What's the second thinking? It thinks in relative terms. Good, good. So I'm glad you are all following. Thank you for that feedback. Good, good, Kayode. Yes, thank you, Doc. Thank you. Good. So yes, that's quite impressive. Okay, so let's make progress. Let's make progress. Let's make progress. Okay, so go on a fresh sheet now. You know, we have used your sheet one to do plenty. We have used it to do plenty rough work. Let's begin to put our hands on something a bit more organized now. Let's begin to put our hands on something a bit more organized. So come to the bottom. You will see something that looks like a plus sign on the bottom right corner. Once you click on it, it will open a new sheet. So let's open a new sheet. So let's call this COVID-19 cases. Let's call this number of recoveries. Just these two data sets, COVID-19 cases and number of recoveries. Okay, so let's just generate like 10 random data. Your data can be different from mine, don't worry. So let's say we have 35, 45, 32, 32, 34, 35, 36, 34, 32, 32. And let's say number of recoveries, 15, 17, 12, 14, 15, 15, 12, 13, 14, 15, like this. Okay, so let me know if you have created a simple data set like this. I hope we all downloaded the data we said we're going to be using for the class. I just want to use this to warm us up in Microsoft Excel before I introduce a data that is a bit complex. Okay, so let's just have something basic like this so that we all begin to familiarize with data points. Okay, good. Taiwo, you've done yours. I guess we still have to wait for some people. Once you are done with yours, just type done so that we know we're on the same page. For those using phone, Microsoft Excel on phone, I don't know how I'm able to help since I'm not leading the class using phone. But Microsoft Excel, because they know that is a tool you need to use everywhere, so it's already available virtually in all kind of operating system, Androids, and so Microsoft Excel is available on your phone. You can use it on your phone. What was it that you could not download. Are you referring to downloading Excel or downloading the data for the class? Okay, some more persons are done. Rebecca, we just imputed. Okay, if you just copy what you have on my screen here, then okay, just copy this that we have here. So if you copy this, when I'm explaining, you won't be lost. You don't have the link for the data. Of course, we shared the link in the email. Did you receive emails from us? Okay, yes. If you want to down, of course, they won't do it for you for free now. Is a paid, is a proprietary software. However, you can use if you have your laptop and you don't have Excel, you can use Google Sheet. It's free. Google Sheet. Just the same thing that we're doing here, you can do it online, but you do it on your Google browser. So you can just type Google Sheet and open it on your laptop or on your phone. Good. Okay, so let's make progress, guys. Let's make progress because it's just a 2-hour class and we need you to get quite a lot before the class is over. Now, so if you have typed in this data, is there anybody else we're still waiting for? I think virtually everybody has typed in the data and oh, so sorry, Doc. I'm going to share the link on this I'll just share the link so that you can just click and download. Let's quickly look at this data set. Please mute your mic. Okay, I've muted you. Don't bother touching it again. But please don't unmute your mic. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate. Okay, good. So now, if you remember when I started the class, I said there are 3 features on Excel that you must familiarize yourself with. You remember I talked about the name tab. I talked about the name tab. I talked about the formula tab. And I talked about the menu tab. Okay, so let's go into them gradually. So let's start with the name tab. Of course, as we've been working, I'm sure you're already finding out some persons are sending me. Okay, you'll find out that every time you touch on a column or a row, Excel has it named. Like for instance, now I'm on column A, row 2, column A, row 3, column A, row 4, column A, row 5, down to column A, row 11. Did you notice that? Now, as you begin to work with large data sets, this is going to be a lot of issue. I don't want to always be saying A1, A2, A3, A4. I want to give my data set name. For instance, the entire data set here is COVID-19 cases. So that when I'm writing my formula, I can now use customized names as my formulas. For instance, highlight all of the data under COVID-19 cases without the header, just the numbers. Highlight all the numbers. Just the numbers. Have you done that? If you've done that, go to your name tab where it's written the names. Let's turn it to COVID underscore cases. Let me know if you've been able to do that. You see, because I have now given my data a name, you know, before it sees this as A1, A2, A3, A4 like that. But now, anytime it sees this entire data set, did you see the new name it gives me on my name bar? It calls it COVID underscore cases. Did you see that? Okay, good. So with this now, I can now do my computations. Like now, instead, the normal way to, if I want to total the total cases, the normal way to do it is to say equal to sum and say A1 to A11. But this is because the data is small. But if I have a large chunk of data set, I don't want to be saying A1 to this. I want to just call the data by its name and say equal to sum COVID cases. Did you see that I now have COVID cases? Some COVID cases. Okay. So somebody's asking, how did I do that? So I'm going to go over it again. On your data, highlight from A2 to A11, which is your entire data set that you have typed. Then go to the name tab and give it a name. Just click on that name tab and type the name you want to give it. Like me, I have typed mine and gave it COVID cases, COVID underscore cases. Awesome. I'd like to know if you've been able to do that. If you've done this, please just tell me done. Good, good, good. And is it done? Good. Good. You will begin to see how beautiful this particular skill is when, oh, okay, good, awesome, good, good. It's changed, I'm trying to get what you're saying, Priska, that it changed the number to the same. I don't get that. You may unmute your mic and talk back to me so that I get what you're trying to say. Temola, you said, where's the name tab? Okay, the name tab is this. I'm going to annotate it so that you see it. Did you see this place that I cycled? That is the name tab. Temola, let me know if you've been able to resolve yours too, and then let's make progress.
Hello.
Yes, Priska.
Hello.
Yes, Priska, go ahead, speak.
I said it changed the number to the same number.
What number?
There were different numbers.
How do you mean?
The first one was 35, so you have to change it to 35 throughout.
No, I didn't change my numbers to 35 throughout. What happened is that probably
I know my own.
Okay, so let's.
That I was trying to highlight.
Okay, let's do like this, Priska. Let me see what you're talking about. On your WebEx, you will see a button on the top called Share. Can you see it? Share. Can you see a button called Share?
On my web.
You just look at
I'm
the
using my
top.
phone
You see
too.
Share. I want you to share your screen with me so that I see what you're talking about. Yes, Adeyemi, how is highlighting done? There are different ways to highlight. You can either use your mouse, press on your left mouse, and then at the middle of the cell, just drag down. It will highlight. Another easy way to highlight is to hold your shift, the shift key on your keyboard, shift key on your keyboard. hold your shift key on the first column and then keep pressing arrow down, arrow down, arrow down, arrow down, and it will highlight. Priska, are you able to share your screen so that I just want to be able to help? No, what you're trying to do is you are trying to annotate, not annotation. You will see share. You will see share. Mhm.
Can't find it. Oh.
So I really don't
Can't find
know
it.
how to help now, but I think, okay, mailbox 50, you said I should take the tabs again, so I'll do that. The name didn't change. No, Thermalite must have changed. Highlight all of your data, you will see that it has a different name, COVID case. Not on individual data points, but on the entire data set. Good, good. Temola, I'm glad you found your way. Okay, Priska, I really want to be of help, but okay, Priska, are you using WebEx on your phone?
Yes.
Oh, yes. So to do that on your phone, um, this is what you do. On the down button of your phone, you will see three dots. You will see three dots. Huh? Click on those three dots. That's your option. Then say share content. Then you can now share your Microsoft Excel. But are you using Microsoft Excel for on your phone? Are you also using Microsoft Excel on your phone? Okay, I'll just try as much as possible and see if you can follow with what I'm doing since you are not able to share your screen with me. So let's make progress. Now, since we have all known how to create names, I'd like you to go to number of recoveries and also create a name called number of recoveries. Simple way, highlight all the data sets, come to the name tab and type recoveries. So once you give it a name, that has become a name that you can now use in formulas. For instance, I can tell Excel that it should divide the total COVID cases by the average of recoveries, or divide total COVID case by the total recoveries. So I can do something like equal to sum of COVID cases divide by sum of recoveries. Did you get that? If you got that explanation, if you got what I just did now, just give me a yes. Now, because I've given my data name, it's now easy for me to just call my data by name instead of by the default A1, A2, A3. James Ago, I'm going to come back to your question, but let me get a feedback on those who understood what I have done. Let me see um, if I have people who got what I just did. Good, Anise, good, on point, good, understood, good, 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 good. So good. Yes, Abdurrashid, good. I got that. Yes. So I only have three persons of this large class. Meaning you all didn't get it then. So I'm going to go over it. But this is taking too much of our time. We're already 1 hour behind, and I really want us to touch on a number of stuff more. Okay, good. Got it. Uh, okay, good.
Hello,
So I'm going
Sophie,
to
I have
take
a
it
question.
back again, but I'm going to be very fast. If you don't get it now, um, you may have to watch the video of the class later and get it from the video. Let's say I'm going to create a new data set. Let's say this is data set from Sokoto and this is data set from Kaduna. This is something you see commonly from M&E. I have data on maybe intervention, books, number of books distributed per state. So I have Sokoto, I have Kaduna, I have Benue. So let's say these are months of distribution. So month. So I have January. I'm just going to highlight down so that you understand why it does this, because Excel thinks in relative terms. So I have January down to December. And so let's say I have 45, 56, 76, 65, 67, 87, 98, 34, 54. Let's say I have data set like this. 78, 65. Just random data that I just
Are you okay? You love God.
okay. Um, so I just have some random data sets. Okay. Just create your own random data set. I just have a random data set, and so I have data like this. Sokoto, Kaduna, Benue. Now, if I want to find the average of the total books distributed per state, I'm going to use a formula called equal to average, then say D2 to D13. Then this is the average number of books distributed. But instead of typing all of this long thing, I can decide to, if it's a frequent data I use for analysis, I can decide to give my data name. So I highlight all of the distribution of books in Sokoto and name it, come to the name tab and name it as Sokoto. I highlight all of the book distribution in Kaduna and name it as Kaduna. And all of the books in Benue. Can you please mute Benue? And I call it Benue. This okay, I've muted you. Please don't unmute yourself again, please. So now that I've given my data names, instead of coming to say A1, A2, A3, I can just tell it to give me the total books distributed in Kaduna, some Kaduna. Did you see? So once I say some Kaduna, it just gives me the data in Kaduna. And this I can do anywhere. If I say some Benue, if I say equal to some Benue, it will just sum Benue for me. So, and I can do this anywhere on my sheet. Like for instance, you see this is a blank sheet. This is a blank Excel sheet. I can just tell it, give me equal to sum of Kaduna. and then I have my data. So this is the total books distributed in Kaduna. So even without seeing the data set, because I have given the data set name, I can use my data anywhere on the Excel sheet. So if I want to see books distributed in Benue, I don't need to come back to where my data is again, because Excel already recognizes this as a name. I just come here and just say equal to sum of Benue. Then it gives me my response. Okay? And you will need this when you are working on a large data set. If not, you will spend all day trying to figure out your data if you don't know how to do what is called name definition. Is that clear now? Name definition. If you got my explanation, just give me yes. Okay, good. Oluwatobi, I'm glad you got it. Good, Chidebere, good, 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 fantastic, good, 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 good. Please watch the video. It's already, I just have less than 40 minutes. I don't want the class to just go without you learning at least 2 or 3 basic skills with Excel, please. Please go, just watch the video later. Let's move to something different. Good. The names refuse to change. Probably you didn't highlight the data and you didn't go to the name tab to. Yes, you must enter a valid reference. And what is a valid reference? It means that you must highlight the data you wanted to change name for. We have master, yes, all right. We have master classes almost every month, which are free, but it's the same content. So if you have done this, you should be going for a real Excel class, the one requiring you to pay money for. Yeah. No, there's no group, there's no WhatsApp. We don't have a group for the master classes. We don't have a group for master classes. Okay, good. Okay, assume you want to divide the COVID cases by recoveries. What do? It's simple. Look at my sheet here. On a blank sheet here, if you say you want to divide, let's call this Oluwatobi, since you are the one who answered the question. And let's say Oluwatobi means dividing total number of COVID cases by total number of recoveries. So I'll just come here and say equal to sum, which is total. We use the word sum as total, equal to sum of COVID cases, close the bracket, divide by sum of recoveries, close the bracket, and say enter. So you got it now. Okay, so that's, you see, so with this now, I can now keep a clean sheet, because as you come into data analysis, you'll be hearing things called dashboard. I'm sure you've been hearing this word, dashboard, 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 dashboard. Now, the dashboard is simply a clean interface where I can remote control all my data. You know, it harmonizes all my data in one simple spot. So instead of seeing plenty data set, clumsy data set up and down like this, no, I will have a dashboard that looks like this. Let me just, so I have a dashboard that looks like this, where all my data are harmonized. including my graphs. You can see that you don't see the original data here. I'm only calling out my data. And this becomes easier because I have now used what is called the name definition. Okay, good. So let's make progress. From name definition, I'm going to take you to what is called data validation. Then once we're back from data validation, we're going to do formulas, basic formulas for your day-to-day formulas, See my dashboard. Somebody is asking where is my dashboard. Of course, this is still very basic. This is my dashboard, Taiwo. Okay. So we're going into data validation, and let's make progress. Now, open a new sheet, and this sheet, we're going to be working on data validation on this sheet. Why we are doing different topics on different sheets is so that you can go back to that sheet and see what you did in those sheets. Now, data validation. You see, by default, Excel is set on any values. Don't forget this. By default, Excel is set on any values, meaning that you can type anything on Excel. I can come here on column A1 and type KJJJ 1718 like this. I can type anything on Excel. It accepts any value. But as you keep making progress with your data work and data management, whether as an admin staff, as a secretary, you will discover that you don't want any values typed into every cell. You want to be able to restrict the kind of data that comes into every cell. And that is what is called data validation. Is that okay? So let's go do that. So for instance, let me call this gender. Or let's have names so that it will be valid data. Names, then gender. Okay. Then let's have a data called age. Okay, so because people's names can be anything, I'm going to leave the names column as open, so you can type any name. So let's generate like 5 different names. So I have Abubakar Sani, I have Temola Shehu, I have Chidiebere Adegoke, and I have Kenyange Suleiman, and I have Inyobong Alanguru. Okay, so let's say I have these 5 names. And when entering the data, I want people to be able to type whether I want my data entry or whoever is imputing data to only be able to type male or female. And I want to define how they are going to enter that data. Like, you know, the major mistakes that people have, they enter data differently. Like somebody writes female, then another person, in trying to type female, he types female. Then another person wants to write male, he write M. Then another person say male. Then this one say Mali. Now, this is going to give you a lot of problem when you are trying to compute your data. Anybody that is working in monitoring and evaluation, they will tell you that data cleaning is one of the biggest headache in data analysis. cleaning your data because people have entered data wrongly. If you are doing monitoring and evaluation, you find out that you spend the whole day trying to clean your data and you may just do the analysis for just 1 hour. Or if you are a machine learning expert, in training your data, you may just train your data for just about 2 hours to build your data models. But to clean the data and making sure that the data is okay, you may take the whole day. And that's why validation ensures that at the point of entry, only the right thing is entered. And let's say I'm collecting data and I don't want anybody in this data set to be above 25. Or let's say we're collecting data and we say anybody below 18. We don't want anybody's age below 18. It means that you need to restrict your age to only accept data of 18 and above. Is that making some sense now? Now, so if you understand that, let's quickly go and do that. So you will go to your menu. On your menu tab, you will see what is called data. So click on data on your menu tab, and then towards your right, you will see something called data validation. Let me annotate it so that you will see it. Did you see this button? This is data validation. So click on data validation. Once you click on data validation, this interface will open. Let me know whether you have this interface open. If you have this interface on data validation open, just give me a yes. Good, Chidi. Good. Yes. Yes, good. Olushola, good. Dunsin, good. I'm glad, Dunsin, you've caught up already. Good. Mary, good. Fantastic, good. James, good. There was somebody who was saying the class is already getting frustrated. I hope you are still in the class and you are catching it now, please. Give me a feedback if the class has become a bit easier for you to follow. I should make it bold, okay? I can't bolden this because this is an interface. I can't make this interface bolder. I can only make my typing bolder. Excel does not have, I can only make my typing bolder, but I won't be able to make the menu and the rest bolder. Okay, good. So once you open this data validation, okay, Lawrence, it's the class. Okay, good. Yes, because each one of us have what we want per time. Okay, good. Once you open the data validation, did you notice that Excel is by default on any value? You can't see data validation. So let me go back again to show you. On your menu, awesome, go to data. On your menu, go to data. Go to data. No, you have data validation. All of us have it. Go to data. On your menu, click data. Click data. Once you click data, just look towards your right. Towards the right, you will see something called, you see text to column, flash fill, remove duplicate, then you see data validation. Let me highlight it so that you see it. This is what I'm talking of, this column. This is data validation. Let me know if you have seen, did you see what I just highlighted with my, that I just colored? That's data validation. Good. So those who are saying they've not seen, okay, you've seen it now. Oguntade, you can catch up. You can catch up. Just a little, we're still at basic Excel. Okay, good. So have you seen the data validation? 2016 Excel, of course, you will see it. I'm using 2019, however, but 2010 upward, you will see it. Just go to menu. On your menu, go to data. Under data, you will see. Did you see where I highlighted? Let me use a different color again, maybe. Did you see this that I highlighted? This is where you see data validation. Janet, you've seen it. Good. Good. So once you've seen it, click on data validation. Once you click data validation, this interface will open. Did you see a short interface like this? It will open. Let me know if you have this interface data validation opened. Just give me a yes if you have that interface opened. Please just hold on a bit for me. One of our classes is having issue. Just give me 2 minutes. We are having an AI class that is running concurrently with this, but they are having an issue requiring my attention. Please just give me 1 minute, 2 minutes rather. Let me.
Is it my network?
Okay, good. So we're back. Um, so if you look at your, so sorry for the break. So sorry for the break. Like I explained, we're having our AI community meeting running. So the facilitator was kind of having a challenge coming on board. Um, okay, good. So if you look at your interface, you find out that it is on default on any value. The reason it is on any value is so that you can type anything. You can impute any kind of data. But now I want to change my gender. I want to restrict it to a list. You can't see my screen. Okay, let me stop sharing and share again. Okay, so if you can see it now, data validation, go to data validation, then remove it from any value. You know, is this gender that we want to, you make sure your cursor is on gender, data validation, change it from any value and let's take it to list. 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 So on list, what are the things you want to allow? I want it to be typed as female, comma, male. Do you see that? That's the only two options I want. So I don't want somebody, if you type female, it won't allow you. If you type F, it won't allow you unless you type female. So like now, okay, did you see it now? If I come here and type Salama, it will tell you that this value does not match the data validation. Okay, I'm going to come again. So let me remove this validation from here so that put your cursor where you want to introduce a validation. For instance, I want to introduce a validation on gender. So I just put my cursor on gender, then go to data validation, click data validation. Yes, it's case sensitive.
I want to have finished.
Okay, so sorry, there's a bit of a distraction here. So sorry about that. So sorry, we're actually having a guest who is not within the country and is finding it difficult connecting. So kind of a distraction, but that's sorted. Um, let's tidy up this class so that, yes. So like I said, you put your cursor, you select the column and the row. Please, can you hear me now? If you can hear me, just give me a yes if you can hear me. If you can hear me, just give me a yes. Okay, good. So select the cursor where you have gender, where you want to impute gender, then go to data validation. You see that by default, under settings, you see that it is on any value. Click on that any value and change it to list. And change it to list. On the list, you will now give it, define what you want, the kind of input you will allow. For instance, I want it to be typed as just F and M. You just separate it with a comma, F, comma, M. So meaning that it will only accept F and will only accept M. Anything, if you type female, it won't allow you. If you type male, it won't allow you. So did you see what I just did? So meaning that if I come here and type female, it will tell me that this value does not match. But if I type F, it's going to, small letter F is not going to allow me because it's case sensitive. But if I type big capital F, that's the only time data will be allowed in. Let me know if you got that validation. So I can drag it through the entire data so that you can only type F, and it has to be in capital letter, F, M, F. If you type female, it will not take it. Did you get this now? So M, F. So with this, your data is, you are only going to collect what you want. So there will not be any issue of typographical error. There will not be issue of mistyping of information into your data sheet. Let me know if you got it. Priska, you said no, so I'm going to go over it again. Those who got it, please give me a yes if you got it. If you got this validation, just give me a yes. Good, good. I'm glad we got it. Okay, let's take more. Let's come under age. Maybe Priska, you will get it now. Click the column under age. We want to restrict data entry that only people above 18 can, so you can't enter 17 and like that. Same way, go to data validation, change it from any value and put it as whole number. Whole number. Whole number. So I can restrict it to whole number between 18 and maximum of 30, meaning that the only data you can enter here must be between the age of 18 and 30. Then just say, okay. If you come here and you type 17, it will say no, it won't accept. But if you type 18, yes. Do we get that now? So if I drag this validation across, if you type 31 here, it's not going to allow you, except you type 18, 30, 27, 26. If you come here and say 35, it will not allow you. Let me know whether we got it. Priska, if you've gotten it now, I'll be glad to hear that feedback. Good. Fantastic. So this is called data validation, and you can validate your data to whatever kind of input you want. Let's say, for instance, these are names of staff, names of your staff. You don't want the names to be misspelled anytime the, name of staff. Okay. So this is their full name. Let me just put full name. And you don't want it to be misspelled anytime. You come here and improve data validation and come with a list. So my list will be Arowolo Ayola, Bale Sani, Ifeanyi Ubong, Shalewa Ugochukwu. So I have names like this, meaning that you cannot come here and type any other names outside of these names. If you come here and try to type Folake, it won't take it. It will say, but if I come and say Arolo Ayola, it will take it. So it will only take what you have validated and put in. In fact, when it is when you are using list, it will even give you a drop-down menu so that you can just select from the drop-down. You don't need to be stressing yourself again. So let me know whether we got this first phase of data validation, because I want to build on that quickly. Yes, you got it. Okay, good. Now, okay, good. Arize, good. Yinka, good. Lawrence, good. Yes. Good. Taiwo, good. Yes. Okay, good. So let's make progress. Still on that data validation. And you see, the major problem we have when it comes to data analysis is the quality of data input. I'm sure some of us may have heard of something called data quality assessor. Data quality assessor. And what do we mean by this? We are saying that the quality of the output of any data analysis is as good as the quality of the input. So if the input is poor, the output is not going to be fine. So to ensure that the input from the beginning is what I'm looking for, that's why I prepare my sheet and ensure that it's validated. So for instance, let's come back again to age. Let's say we want to introduce data validation. Go to data validation. I've taught us how to use settings. The next thing I want to show us is what is called the input message. The input message, we've done the settings. The input message is to guide the data entry person on what he is supposed to do. Let's say, for instance, let's say my whole number, I'm doing between 18 and a maximum of 30. So I will come to input message here and title it as age of respondents. It can be age of anything. It could be age of staffs, age of respondents. Age of respondents. Then come to input message and give the person a guide and say, please impute or please enter ages between 18 to 30. So this is an information. So anytime the data entry staff comes here and he clicks on the cell, did you see that the cell now has an input message? It tells you age of respondents, and this is what you are supposed to do. Please enter ages between 18 to 30. So it guides the data entry. Let me know if you got this and you've been able to do that. Let me know if you got this and you've been able to do that. You did not. So I'm going to go over it again. Abdurrashid, no. Okay, Abdurrashid, yes, you got it. If you like to make a correction or update it, go back to that list and go to data validation and make your editing. Please mute your mic. Are you speaking to me, Ejike? Do you want to say something?
Yes, man.
So I can't hear you. You may need to be a bit louder. So Oluwatobi said I should use gender as example. So let's have gender.
That's no good.
What's the question? Like to make do you have to highlight all the columns? Yes, you can highlight all the columns and do the data validation once, or you do it on just one column, then drag it down to all of your columns. I should recap on the full name explanation. Okay, you will catch it again with this gender. Let me do gender. Click on the column where you want to input data validation. Go to data validation, and then in your settings, tell it what you want to do. List. I want it to, on your source, you click source and say female, comma, male, comma, maybe I don't want to say. I don't want to say. These are your options. But you know, I don't know what you put in there as your validation. So you need to give me an input message. So I will come here, gender, and say in input message, please input only female, male, I don't want to say. Then you say okay. So you will notice now that on the column where you have gender, there will be an input dialog box that will always open. That will also open, and that is to guide you when you are entering in your data. Okay, so if you have gotten this, the next thing is your error alert. You discover that when I type something different, it gives the error alert says that this value doesn't match the data validation restriction defined for this cell. I may not want this kind of error message, so I may want to define my own error message. Go back to data validation. This time around, now go to error alert. There are 3 types of error alert on Excel. The first one is called stop. This stop, it will not allow you to make any changes unless you put in the right data. Then we have warning. Warning will warn you that the data you have imputed is wrong. But if you continue to insist, it will allow the data. Information, it will only tell you that what you have entered is a wrong data. But if you want to leave it like that, that's now your business. So you can choose any of these error alerts. Let's start with the stop alert. Let's title this gender. And what is the error message you want it to show? Let me type an error message and say, Oga, you know they see. Let's say this is my error message. Oga, you know they see, and say okay. So if you come here and type a different thing, different from what I put there, you are going to have an error alert that says, Oga, you know they see. Do we get that now? Okay, good. If you got this, let me know if you got it. You'll find out that since I use stop, even if I retry, it won't allow. But if I go back to data validation and change it to warning and say, okay, if I type a wrong information, it will give me an option, Oga, you know they see, but it tells me that if I want to continue, I can say yes, that I want to really continue with that information. So it allows it, even though I have imputed the wrong information. And when I select warning information and I type the wrong data, let's say K, it will only show me that, Oga, you know they see, but if I say okay, it will allow it. Let me know if you all got data validation. Let me know if you got data validation. Good. So I'm going to end this class with formulas, basic formulas that we use. Okay, so let me go into formulas. Formulas, basic formulas we use in Microsoft Excel. So open a new sheet and let's deal with. So if you've been following the conversation, each of your sheet will have been different topics that we have covered. And today we have covered 4 topics. We have looked at how Excel thinks. We have looked at name definition. We have looked at data validation, and now we're going into formulas. So let's have data. Let's just have basic data to work with. Let's have states. And let's have number of books distributed. Okay. Good. This data in one side. In column F, I want you to create another data for me, which we're going to use for some formulas. Put first name, put last name, and then put email address. You know, if you have a data set like this, a heading like this, state, number of books distributed, first name, last name, email address. The person you need to Mike Oguntade Mayowa, please mute your mic. Okay. Yes, Amarachi, you are asking about the sent data. I'm kind of wary of us using that sent data. I really want us to get familiar with all of these little hands-on, then we go into that data. Okay. Now, so under first name, just generate some random names. So I'm going to generate Aisha, Katung, Samaila, Buhari, Osibanjo. You watch that in the video, Oluwatobi, because our time is already. I'm trying to just cover up for the time of distraction to do some of this. Osibanjo. Okay, let's just have these 5 names: Aisha, Katun, Samaila, Buhari, Osibanjo, and let's have Aisha under last name. Let's have Igbomina. Let's have Fikare. Let's have Ora. Let's have Umunya. And let's have Unsuka as last name. Let me know if you have generated a basic data first name and last name. Done. Okay, so what we want to start with now is formulas for managing text. Formulas for managing text. Text-based data. Formulas for managing text-based data. Now, for instance, you will notice that in your organization, your email is usually your first name and your last name at your company domain. For instance, my email is aroloayola@dataleadafrica.com. Okay, please don't send me spam emails, but I know nobody will. Okay, now this is how most of our emails look. How do I do that? It means that I need to join the first name and the last name together. So I'm going to start us with a formula called concatenate. Concatenate. So come to email address, type equal to concatenate. Did you see concatenate? Concatenate. Concatenate. Let me know if you have seen the formula. Concatenate. Select F1, F2, I mean. F2. Okay, before going into the formulas, let me explain something to us. Excel is very simple. Anytime you see an Excel formula and you open the formula, watch out for what is called the syntax. The syntax is the process for implementing that formula. For instance, if you look at concatenate now, it tells you open bracket, then bring the first text, text 1, then bring put comma, text 2, put comma, and like that till infinity. So concatenate F1, whatever F2, whatever content is in F2 is my text 1. Then I put comma. Whatever content is in G2 is my text 2. Then I put comma. The next thing is I want to bring it at my domain. So I put double inverted comma, data at dataleadafrica.com. Then I close the bracket. Did you notice now that I have the email address, Aisha Igbomina at dataleadafrica.com? Let me know if you've been able to do what I just did. Oops, no. The screen went off. Who screened my screen? Okay, so let me reshare my screen. I'll stop sharing and share again. Can you see my screen now? So if you can see my screen now, just give me yes that you can see it. Bukola, I'd like you to concentrate first and get it from this class. The video will just strengthen your
Okay, so
conversation.
don't finish.
So I'm going to type the formula again. Anytime we want to use a formula in Microsoft Excel, you have to start with equal to. So please type equal to under that email address. Just type equal to. If you have done that, type equal to. The next thing is you type concatenate. As you are typing it, you will see the formula will pop up. Concatenate. Concatenate. As you are typing the concatenate, you will see the formula coming out. Then press your tab key. Your tab key is on your keyboard, is on the left top corner of your keyboard. Just press tab and it will finish the formula for you and open bracket down for you. As you are typing the formula, just press tab key. It will complete the formula and then introduce the bracket for you. Now, when you see a formula, once you put in a formula, underneath it, you will see the syntax. For instance, this is telling me that to do concatenation, that I should introduce text 1, text 2, text 1, then put comma, text 2, put comma, down to infinity. I can concatenate as many things I want. So in this case, the first name, which is in column F2, is my first text. So then I put comma. And the next thing I want to concatenate is the last name, Igbomina, which is text 2. Then comma. Because I want to type a text manually, because I want to type in a text, I will need to put it in inverted comma. Anytime you want to type a text, I'm talking of something that is a text. I want to type Amina, I want to type Ifeanyi inside a formula. You have to put it in a double inverted comma.
Church, Abi. Make I go church. Hey.
Priska, do you want to talk or ask a question, or you may want to mute your mic because the conversation behind is distracting. Okay, so G2, comma, then bring the double quotation mark and type at, let's call the name of this company, at Nigeria.com. End the double quotation, close the double quotation, and close your bracket and say enter. So did you see our email now? Aisha Igbomina at Nigeria.com. Let me know if you've been able to do this. Awesome. I'm glad you've been able to do that. Good. Anybody else been able to do that? Yes, good. Now you see, I don't need to now be doing for everybody again. Because Excel thinks in relative terms, I can just drag and it will do for everybody. So I now have Katung Ikare at Nigeria.com, Samael Aura at Nigeria.com, Buhari Umunya at Nigeria.com, Osibanjo Onsuka at Nigeria.com. Yes, so Babatunde is saying if he wants to have a full stop, it's very simple. So the same thing, I can now come. He wants to have an email that has full stop, email address with full stop. So same thing, I just come equal to concatenate, Aisha, F2, comma. You know that full stop is now a text. So I need to put it in double inverted comma. So I put quotation, full stop, quotation, comma. Text 2 will be the next name, which is this, comma. Put double quotation and then have at Kilimanjaro.com. Close the inverted comma too because that's a text. Close my bracket and press enter. So I now have Aisha.Igbomina at Kilimanjaro.com. Okay, good. Okay, good. So if I drag this, it's going to do for everybody. Good. Now you have understood concatenate. Let's make progress. Sometimes you will have data set that looks like this. Let's say names, full names. Let's say people's full names. And I want to break these names into, I don't want their full name. I just want their first name only. Yes, if you are getting an error, check and be sure that you follow the syntax like this. Your dragging down should work. Make sure you are dragging from the edge and you have the cross looking this way. I'm sorry I've extended a bit into our time, but if you give me 10 more minutes, I'm able to do some more and then we close the class. Let's say, for instance, I have full names. Of course, if you are in monitoring and evaluation, you see this a lot, where you have names of people, but I just need their first name only. But the way the data came as Aisha Igbomina, Samaila Sule, Ifeanyi Ubong, Adamawa Yola, Shehu Sani. So I have names like this, but I really don't need this their full name. Maybe I want to do something. I'm sure when you further in Excel, you'll be hearing of things like mail match. I know that a lot of us received emails. You have received emails from us. And when you receive email from us, the email will state something like, Dear Mayowa. And you may be wondering that we have, like for this Excel, we have thousands of people registering for training. I'm sure you don't think that we go sending the mail one by one, sending to Mayowa, Dear Mayowa, then we'll finish, we send to Dear Sani one by one. No, we use what is called mail merge. And so in mail merge, maybe I don't want the email to be reading Dear Mayowa Sani. I want it to just carry only the first name only. So meaning that I will need to break, and in the form you have given me your full name like this, I will need to split this into your full names and surname. How do I go do that? Just click on this column where you have your data, then go to the menu and go to data. You will see something called text to columns. Very close to where we did data validation, you will see something called text to columns. Text to columns. Text to columns. Text to columns. Let me know if you've seen text to columns. Text to columns. Once you see text to columns, just click text to columns. Have you seen text to columns? If you've seen text to column, just give me yes, 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 yes. You can't hear me. If you can hear me now, please just give me a yes if you can hear me. If you can hear me, just give me a yes. Okay, yes, people can hear me now. Yes. Oluwatobi, yes, okay, good. Please check your network at your end. Good. Okay, so what I'm saying is that I want to separate this name, full names. I want to separate it to Aisha. I want to separate it to Igbomina as separate names. To do that, just click on that column where the data is, then go to data on your menu, close to where we did data validation, you will see text to columns. Click on text to columns and this interface will open. Let me know if you have that interface. Awesome, you have it. If you have that interface, if you've seen the interface, you've clicked text to column and this is open, just give me yes. Good, 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 good. Now, you see, you can delimit, you can separate this text either by characters, delimited by characters such as comma, tabs, or thereabout. You can also do it using fixed spaces, fixed width. I can tell it to give me the first 5, first 3, first 2, thereabout, first 2 words, first 3 words. But let's use delimited. So select delimited and click on next. Okay, Aisha, you didn't get that. Click on the column of the data you want to select, you want to break. Click on that column, then go to data, then go to text to columns. On your text to columns, select delimited, then click next. Aisha, did you get that now? Give me a feedback, Aisha, if you got what I just explained and you've been able to get to this point. Okay, good, fantastic. So once you select delimited, just click next. You now see there are different options of delimitations that you can do. You can delimit by tab, which is not what I want to do. You can delimit by semicolon, which is not what I want to do. You can delimit by comma, which is not what I want to do. You can delimit by space, which is what I want to do. So I'm saying that Aisha, if there is a space between Aisha and Igbomina, it should separate it based on that space. So I click on space. You can see it's already giving me an example of what is going to happen. So it's going to separate Aisha, Igbomina, Samaila, Sule. Then just click on next. And once you just say finish, did you see that it has separated my data for me? So the full names have been separated into Aisha, Igbomina, Samaila, Sule, Ifeanyi Ubong, Adamawa Yola, Shehu Sani. Let me know if you've been able to do this. Let me know if you've been able to do this. Done. Good. Fantastic. Okay, good. So these are some simple basic tricks working with text. Let's try to work with some basic formulas for working with numbers. So under states here, come to the other data set here. I'm trying to be a bit fast. Under states, type Sokoto. Sokoto. Type Sokoto, type Kaduna, 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 Kaduna. Let's have Kano, Kano. Let's have Kano, let's have Kano. Let's have Ogun, Ogun. And let's have Ondo, Ondo. Ondo, and let's have Lagos, Lagos. Let's have Anambra, and let's have Enugu, Enugu, and then Akwa Ibom. Let's say I have a data set like this. Abdurrashid, you said you have a question. Yes, please, your question. You may need to type it in the public. Yes, Abdurrashid, yes.
Okay, I got the question. I was thinking that maybe in a situation where you have joint text that maybe the characters are not, the numbers are not the same.
Yes.
So I finally understand the trick that it is separated by space. So
It was
whenever there is
separated by
space, it
space,
is
yes. And of
yeah.
course,
So I later got it. Yeah.
yes, you can also separate by comma if the data is, if they have
Comma.
unique separation by comma. You
Yeah.
can also separate by tab.
Yeah.
You can even insert
Yeah.
full special character.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Thanks. I got that.
Yes, good. Fantastic. Okay, good. So we're trying to work with, let's just do some more. So number of books distributed, just give random data. 34, 35, 37, let's say 45. So let me just highlight this and just drag so that I don't have to type all through. Let me know if you have a data like this. Oguntade, yes, it can be done on phone. Anything you can do on your laptop, you can do it on your phone, just that it's a bit little cumbersome working on phone. Okay. Okay, good. So yes, done. Olaiton, you are done with your data. Please, if you are done, if you have imputed data like this, um, let's quickly just signify and let me know so that I just carry on. Done. Awesome. Yes, done. You don't have to generate as much data as I've generated. Just generate some sample data across different states, and let's quickly work on some tricks in Excel. Done. I just have about 5 persons said done. Please, so let's wait a bit some more for others. Done. Okay. Chinyere done. Dr. Flake done. Yes. Mailbox 50 done. 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 Good. So let's make progress. Okay, good. So I can make progress now. So let's start with, I'm going to start basic, then climb up a bit. Let's look at how to add up all of the, if I want to find the total books distributed. So just type total books distributed. So if I want to find the total books distributed, or what is called a sum, I'm going to use a formula called sum. I'm going to use a formula called sum. And like I told us, when you want to use a formula in Excel, you start with equal to and say sum. Did you notice that when I typed equal to sum, there are different kind of sums, different kind. For this masterclass, I'm going to show you 2 types of the sum, and you see how it works. And you see, knowing how to use them simplifies your work. The first sum gives you it totals everything that you want to do. So equal to sum, press your tab key. And then our data starts from B2 to B29. Anytime you see this thing called full column in Excel, it means to. Full column means to. So B2 to B29, I'm telling it to sum everything for me. And the total is 3,631 for what I did. Let me know if you've been able to do your sum. Let me know if you've been able to do your sum. If you've done the sum, let me know. Just say, yes, you've done it. If you've done yes, yes, of course, that's very simple. We've all done yes, good, yes. So let's take it a bit higher. What if I want to know the total books, the sum of books distributed per states? Sum of books distributed per state. So I'm saying that I want to know what is the total books distributed in Sokoto. Total books distributed in Sokoto State. I'm going to introduce another kind of sum called equal to sum if. Did you see this formula? Sum if. Sum if. Sum if. Let me know if you've seen sum if. So type equal to sum if, then press your tab. Let me know if you've seen your equal to sum if. Yes, okay, good. So let's make progress. So equal to sum if you look at the syntax for sum if, as you introduce sum if, it tells you that the first thing it needs is what is called a range, then the criteria. Anytime you hear the word range in Excel, Essay God, please can you mute your mic? Essay God, please mute your mic. Essay God. Okay, so when you see a word called range in Excel, it means an array of data sets. It's telling you that range is asking you that, please, where is the bulk of data set where I'm going to go and look for Sokoto from? Where should I go and look for Sokoto? So that is called the range. And in this case, Sokoto is in column A. So I can tell it to look for Sokoto in column from A1 to A29. Did you see all of these data sets? That's my range. A1 to A29, that's my range. Then the next thing it asks me, if you look at the syntax, is my criteria. What do we mean by criteria? Criteria means what exactly are you looking for? And in this case, we are looking for Sokoto. So, and you know that if we are typing a text, I say you put it in inverted comma. So you say Sokoto and close the inverted comma. Then the next thing it asks me is my sum range. Sum range. So, and what is sum range? Sum range is where is the data that I'm going to sum. And that data is in column B, which is B1 to B29. So the total books distributed in Sokoto State in my data is 204. Okay, some people said their network went off. Let me know if you heard me. I've overshot my time, but let me know if you heard me. No. Okay, can you hear me now? If you can hear me now, I'm going to go over it again. I'm going to come over the sum if again. I'm going to do that again. Okay, good. Now, sum if Sum if is a derivative of what is called the if statement. If statement. And what is an if statement? What do we mean by it? It's just basic English. Anytime you see the word if, it means that a condition must be satisfied. A condition must be satisfied before an action will take place. For instance, if I say, Mary, if you go to Adamawa, buy me pineapple. It means that if you travel but you didn't go to Adamawa, you don't have to buy pineapple. So I am only expecting pineapple if you satisfy the condition of going to Adamawa. The same thing with what we call the sum if statement. So I am telling it to sum. Help me add up the data only if it meets certain criteria. For instance, if it is a data from Sokoto, add it all. If it is a data from Kaduna, add it all. That's what we mean by sum if. Are we getting that? And to do that, I'm going to run it again. This time around, I'm going to run with Kaduna, total books distributed in Kaduna State. So come here and say equal to sum if. Once you type sum if, just press your tab key. Press your tab key. As you press your tab key, it completes the formula for you. Then it shows you the syntax that to do a sum if, it tells you that the first thing you need to give it is a range. What is the range? And that range tells you where exactly do you want it to go and look for Kaduna from. And if you look at our data, Kaduna is in column A, where we have our states. So my range is A1 to A29. So I'm telling it that Kaduna is inside this data, inside this array, inside this range. Let me know if you have done that. Then tell it comma, then put comma. Let me know if you've been able to select your range. Okay, Bukola, yes. James, yes. Yes. Priska, I've not heard from Priska in a while. I hope you're still following the class. Lawrence, yes. Amarachi, yes. Beautiful. The next thing in your syntax is criteria. It's asking you for a criteria that what exactly do you want to look for in this array, in this range? What exactly are you looking for? In this case, we are looking for Kaduna. In this case, we're looking for Kaduna. And I told us that anytime you are typing a text in a formula, you have to put it in a double inverted comma, which is this. Then I type Kaduna. Then end the double inverted comma. So Kaduna is in a text, then comma. The next thing it asked me for is the range. What is the data that I want to sum? What is the sum range? And this is the data which is in column B. So I tell it from B2 to B29. Then close my bracket and I say enter. If you look at this now, this is the total books distributed in Kaduna. If you want the total books distributed so try and do the total books distributed in Anambra State. So let's say Anambra State. I don't need to write this formula again. I will come here, make this absolute. Okay, because I can just copy this and bring it here. Then I make this A2 to 29. But this time around, I'm looking for a number. I'm just editing this so that I don't type it again. And this is from B2. So the total books distributed in Anambra State is 836. Let me know if you got the sum if, because I like to move to the next thing. If you got some if, let me know. So, and this is your take-home work. I'd like you to figure out how to use the sum ifs. So as our take-home work, learn how to use the sum ifs. Good. The same way, if I want to find the average number of books, average books distributed. So if I want to look at this, the total data, I will just use the formula equal to average. And say B2 to B29. So this computes for me the total average. What is the average across all of the states? But if I want to find average per state, average books distributed in Sokoto State, what formula do you think I will use? I'm going to use average if. Did you see average if? Then the same way you run the sum if, that's the same way you run the average if. Let me know. Okay, Peter, I'm glad you are doing for other states. Let me know. Yes, I off my screen. Yes. Let me know if you got what I've done. Oh, yes, I intentionally offed my screen because we have actually come to the end of the class. But this is it. So average if, the same way you run the sum if. So this is A2 to A29, comma, and my criteria, I'm looking for Sokoto, and my average range is B2 to B29. And then this is the average books distributed in Sokoto State. I hope, of course, you can analyze data collected via Google Form using Excel. Yes. I hope we're able to catch a bit of basics. Today we've been able to look at name definition, data validation, and some bit of formulas, and a bit of some of the regular formulas and some tricky formulas we can always use for our data analysis. Yes, you will get the video, and to get the video, because we'll not be sending you emails directly, you by evening today, if you just go to our YouTube link, you will see this video there. So if you go to Data Lead Africa, if you just search for Data Lead Africa on YouTube, you will see this class there by evening. I'd like to thank you all for being part of this class. I hope it was worth your time. I hope we got something from the class and that it was a productive use of your time. If you want to be part of our other master classes, you will have to wait the next month again and then join a master class. However, we have paid classes. Not everybody may be able to afford paid for classes. So we have so many of our trainings that are free, and then some you have to pay for it. Like we have a complete course in Microsoft Excel. We have a complete course in Microsoft Excel. I think it's a 4-day course. Let me see if the flyer is close by. Just share it with you. So this is a 4-day course. It's a complete course on Microsoft Excel, and it covers the analytics and data visualization using Microsoft Excel. Of course, and I think it's just coming up in a couple of days, just about 3 days, in a few days' time. Yes. So If you are interested in a much more comprehensive course on data analytics using Excel, you can subscribe for that. And I think it's just about $135 to be part of that class. For Nigerian audience, it's about 50,000 naira. Okay. Of course, the last Saturday of the month, we have another master class. You can also join and be part of it.